because we have a lot to do today. So, first of all, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Bonnie Hagan. I'm the co-chair of the Westchester Jewish Council Greening Committee, along with my fabulous co-chair, Robin Rosenberg. Robin, give a wave. Awesome. We are here today with Westchester Jewish Council's Chief Operating Officer, Pam Goldstein. Give a wave, who, by the way, was recently honored by the council at the 50th anniversary gala earlier this month for all the incredible work she has done to strengthen the Westchester Jewish community. Many thanks to you, Pam. Congratulations, it's well deserved. We are also here today with our speaker, Marc Karell of Climate Change and Environmental Services, who will teach us about his work in helping buildings comply with local energy codes while becoming more energy efficient. And he will share with us some important information about what you can do in your synagogues and day schools and other buildings to reduce energy usage and expenses while increasing the physical comfort for the occupants of these communal spaces. Robin will tell you more about him in a little bit. And of course, we're here today with all of you, and I see there are more joining us as we chat. Thank you for being here with us to learn about strengthening our greening efforts for our organizations and ourselves personally. Before I turn the floor over to Robin, we'll go around and do some very brief introductions to allow for enough time for our speaker and some questions and answers afterwards. Please just tell us your name and the organization you are representing. If we have time after Mark's presentation, we'll go around again and ask you to share if you have an environmental project you're working on or have worked on that you're really proud of. In the meantime, once you finish stating your name and the organization you are representing, please pick the person next to you on your screen to hand the baton to, announce their name, and then they will be the next person to introduce themselves. We'll do this until everyone is introduced, and then Robin will take over from there. All right, I'm going to begin. I'm Bonnie Hagan. I represent three organizations here. I'm the co-chair of the Westchester Jewish Council Greening Committee. I also chair the Green Team at Congregation Kol Ami in White Plains. And I represent my company, Bright Energy Services, which is an energy efficiency construction company that upgrades building technology to more efficient technology, which costs less to run and often has a reduced price tag due to the rebates we secure from Con Ed and other granting agencies. The technology we supply and install includes LED lighting, controls, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, electric vehicle charging stations, and more. And now I pass the baton to David Sorkin, who's on mute.
Doing. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. This is David Sorkin. My organization is called DH Sorkin Consultation Group. I work with consulting with nonprofits in the metropolitan New York area, also working with UJA Federation in the environmental sustainability area, and happy to be here today. And I'm going to pass it on to Marc Karell.
Mark is speaking today, so let's pass it on. Pick somebody else, David.
Okay, next is Linda. Linda.
Hi there. I'm obviously Marc Karell's wife, and I'm representing today myself and Westchester Jewish Center
Thank
in
you,
Mamaroneck.
Linda. Pick someone else.
Okay. How about Steve Elson?
Hi, Steve Elson here. I'm a member of Beit Dam Shalom in White Plains. I'm part of the Green Chevra and also on the House Committee. We're starting in the process of contemplating some replacements of our physical plant. And we recently joined Adama.
Welcome, Stephen. Please pick the next person.
Oh, Robin Rosenberg.
I'm going to be speaking to introduce Mark, so I'll do myself in a few minutes. But I can pick somebody, Steve, or you can pick the next person. Go for it. You can do it. Go pick someone else.
Deborah Bloom.
Hi, I'm representing Sinai Free Synagogue in Mount Vernon, and we are members of Adama, and we were very happy to receive a grant from them last year, which helped us with one of our projects.
Awesome. Thank you, Deborah. Please pick somebody else.
Um, Daniel Dre.
Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm representing Adama, New York.
Great.
It's great to see some faces to names that I've emailed with, which is awesome. And Adama helps Jewish organizations to advance on their sustainability initiatives.
Awesome. Thank you, Daniel. Please pick someone.
Yeah. How about Christian?
Hi, my name is Christian Capobianco. I work for Sustainable Westchester. We're a non-for-profit based out of Mount Kisco to help people become more sustainable in a lot of different aspects. One program I'm proud to be working on with Grid Rewards. It's a demand response program to help lower electricity usage during peak events, so we don't have to turn on peaker plants and stuff.
Thank you, Christian. Please pick
Um,
the next person.
yep. For next person, go down the list. Nancy Sklar.
I know Nancy. Nancy, you there? Nancy?
Yes, I'm here. Hi,
For it.
sorry. Um, so I'm Nancy Sklar. I am with Robin Rosenberg on the Green Team of Greenberg Hebrew Center.
Thank you, Nancy. Please pick the next person.
I don't, okay.
Could you see the next person or?
Yes, I can. Let's see. Gigi Zeller.
Well, hi there. I'm honored to be on the board of Westchester Jewish Council. Saying hello to everybody from sunny Florida. Sorry about that. And I'm on the green team at Temple Shari Tefillah, where Karen Sabbath is the chairperson.
Wonderful, Gigi. Please pick the next person.
Did David? No, I guess he spoke. Rona, did you speak, Rona?
Hi, everybody. I'm Rona Benai. I'm a member of Badam Shalom and co-chair of the Green Chevra with Judy. And my day job, I just started at Nexamp Solar doing community solar projects and battery projects around the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. And I also have a history with heat pumps. So if you have questions about any of those
Awesome.
things, I
Thank
may
you,
or may not be
Rona.
able to answer you.
Please pick your next person.
Yes. Marc Karell, have you gone?
Mark is speaking, so he's going to
Oh,
go
sorry. Sarah Bonizio.
Everyone, sorry, my Zoom updated today and now I can't get my camera to work, so apologies. I too am a somewhat new member of Beit Am Shalom, invited here by wonderful Judy Zinger, participating as I can despite a very bad back in the Green Chevra. So, here to just learn more and see what's going on around the county and how I can play my small part.
Thank you, Sarah. Could you pick the next person?
I'm gonna choose Judy because she's so amazing.
Hi, I'm Judy Zinger, a member of Beit Am Shalom for 100 years, and the co-chair with Rona of the Green Chevra, and I'm on a lot of climate action apps and organizations, including Climate Reality Project. And let's see, who has not spoken yet?
I don't think Bob has gone yet, or Pam.
Oh, Bob Schloss. Yes.
Hi, I'm Bob.
Hi, Emily, but I'm in the middle of baking, so I'll listen.
Emma, we belong to CSI in Briarcliff. Emily is the co-chair of the Green Team, and I'm deeply interested in this. And like Judy, I'm part of many both secular and religious Jewish climate-focused activities.
Thank you, Bob.
And I will call on Pam.
Thank you, Bob. Pam Goldstein from the Westchester Jewish Council. I just want to really thank all of you for taking the time to be here today and for all the incredible work you're doing in our community. We are very grateful.
Thank you, Pam. And now we hand it over to you, Robin.
Okay, hi, I'm Robin Rosenberg, co-chair of the Greening Roundtable with Bonnie Hagan. So happy to be here. Glad you all, made it through the snow okay. And wanted to mention, we've been a little bit remiss, but we're going to get out this, we probably sent it out already, but there's like a checklist where everybody can write different things in. So like, for instance, Rona, you mentioned about the green pump, about the that having an expertise in heat pumps. We're actually looking to get some at GHC for our lower level of our building. So we might be consulting with you on that. The point is that we can learn a lot from everybody, and I think this checklist might be very helpful and very illuminating for a lot of people. So it's on the list after Purim. Before Passover, hopefully. So anyway, without further ado, let me introduce our speaker today, Marc Karell. Marc Karell has a lot of initials after his name. I'm not going to go through them all, but clearly he has a lot of degrees, quite educated. He's the owner of the consulting firm Climate Change and Environmental Services. He's a licensed professional engineer in New York with over 40 years of technical consulting experience in the areas of environmental compliance, clean energy, energy efficiency, climate change, and sustainability. He's a certified energy manager with a master's degree in chemical engineering from Columbia. He has extensive experience performing carbon footprints under the Greenhouse Gas Protocol and some other type of audit system for diverse building types, all different types of diverse buildings. He also performs building retro commissioning evaluations to assure that building owners that their systems are operating optimally. He was also the chair of the House Committee of the Westchester Jewish Center. I know the other WJC, based in Mamaroneck. He managed the installation of all their LED lighting, HVAC upgrades, and rooftop solar panels. So, Marc, you've done a lot for your synagogue and also for Westchester, and also for the council too. We appreciate it. So, without further ado, I will turn the floor over to Marc. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Questions and answers. I'm sorry, one more thing. Questions and answers put in the chat. Questions in the chat, and we'll do Q&A after the presentation. There will be time. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Robin, for the kind words and all. Can everybody see the screen? Can everybody see the slide? I've got my title slide. It's hopefully taking up the entire screen. So this is very good. Excellent. First thing, if somebody is really perceptive and it's been around for a while, they'll see that I'm giving the same presentation that I gave to this very group 5 years ago, a little over 5 years ago, of course, updated, and there'll be a lot of new stuff in here. The other thing I want to point out is the logo and the big logo on the bottom, the Westchester Jewish Council, 50 years. I just want to mirror what Bonnie said earlier. We just had a big gala earlier this month, and Pam Goldstein was honored, and she's terrific, and I was really happy to be there, and she deserves so much credit for what she's done for the organization, for all of us. Thank you so much, Pam. I'm also going to do a little bit of a shameless promo because I see a couple of buddies here who I know from a different organization. It's a member of the Westchester Jewish Council called Shalom Yisrael. It's a wonderful organization. We bring in women from Israel every year, not just women, but interesting women, dynamic women, women who do great volunteer things in Israel for 10 days, 2 weeks of time here in Westchester, in New York City. They go to our schools, they meet with people, do similar work here in Westchester. It's a great program. So if you have a chance, go to Facebook, look up Shalom Yisrael Westchester, and get to know us a little bit, or get to know us through the council. We need volunteers, we need help, and it's just, and you just feel good about it. It's a great thing. Okay, now let's get to the presentation. Growing energy issues for synagogues and organizations. I was going to say Jewish organizations, but I couldn't fit it in the title. So here we go. There we go. So let me just move this out of the way. Okay, this is a good topic, an important topic, but why are we concerned? Why do synagogues and Jewish organizations be concerned about energy? A big reason is the cost, the high cost. The average cost for a kilowatt hour of electricity in Westchester is now 31 cents. 31 cents per kilowatt hour. Nationwide, it's 19 cents per kilowatt hour. When I gave this presentation 5 years ago, I dusted off the PowerPoint. It was 19 cents a kilowatt hour in Westchester and 13 cents per kilowatt hour nationwide. So it's gone up about 50% in the last 5 years. Incredible. And maybe more important or as important, in Westchester, it's likely going to rise even more because Con Edison just got permission from the Public Service Commission to raise electric rates by another 9%. And natural gas rates by another 6%. So the bottom line now is in running a synagogue or any other building, energy is now a significant cost. And we know that as not-for-profits, synagogues and Jewish organizations have to control their costs. They cannot be giving away their money to their utilities. So to control your costs is important to reduce the amount of energy you're using. In other words, reduce your electricity usage and reduce your fuel usage. right? I think this is the most important slide I'm going to be giving today. So if you want to take a nap after this slide, go ahead, but definitely pay attention to this slide. I'm going to give you three really important reasons that you need to go out there and reduce your energy usage if you're a synagogue or a Jewish organization. And I think these are overwhelming reasons. Number one, money, right? You're on a tight budget. You are undoubtedly on a tight budget. Actions that reduce your electricity or fuel usage will reduce your costs. Show of hands, people. Who likes paying Con Edison? There's two people who should be raising their hands, me and my wife, because we pay zero for electricity. We have solar panels. We're actually a net producer of electricity. So I'm happy with the Con Ed bill, but everybody else in the world doesn't like it, doesn't like Con Ed. Uh, and there's a special financial value for doing energy upgrades because one-time upgrades of your energy systems will provide cost savings for years. In fact, it'll actually rise in the future as rates rise. And I'll just give you a very simplistic example. Let's say your synagogue replaces your fluorescent lights with LEDs and replaces your single pane windows with double pane windows and maybe replaces a rooftop heating and cooling system, HVAC, with a more modern one, and you figured out that it's going to save you $10,000 a year, let's say. That's money in the budget. That's money in the bank, in your back pocket, whatever you want to call. $10,000 less going to Con Edison. So you do these upgrades, and the first year goes by, and you're seeing these savings in Con Ed. You're coming up to the end of the first year. You're saving $10,000. It's not like at the end of that year, you're going to go and put back the drafty windows and the fluorescent lights back into the sockets and all that. No, it's going to stay on. So that $10,000 you saved in year one, you're going to save in year two, and three, and four, etc. And and this, I love saying this because people get excited when they hear it, without having to do anything. You did it already one time by installing the windows, the lights, etc., etc. And in fact, it actually grows. Where did I come up with $10,000 savings from? It is the amount of kilowatt hours of electricity you saved times its rate, the number of therms of natural gas you saved times its rate. What direction are rates going? Are they going down? No, of course not. It's the opposite. I just said in the last slide. They're going up. They've been going up on average 4.5% per year for the last decade. And now you saw in Westchester, it's going to go up maybe as much as 6 or 8 or 9% this coming year. So the amount of savings will actually get higher in the second year. So that $10,000 you saved in the first year will become 10,400 in the second year, and maybe 11,000 in the third year, again, without having to do anything. So there's a really strong financial value in doing these upgrades. The second reason is you want to do this for fiscal and for green reasons. Rebranding your synagogue as green or rebranding your synagogue as a really good, efficient place is sure to raise pride, interest, spirituality, all that entails. And really the bottom line is it will keep and maybe even attract membership, right? You don't want to lose, no synagogue wants to lose membership, no organization wants to lose. But if a member feels confident, gee, these people are really fiscally responsible, they're energy efficient, they're more likely to stay. And then, yeah, by the way, we're a Jewish organization, right? We're just a Jewish council. It's in our name, and it's in Halakha. It's in the Tanakh, Tikkun Olam. And you see the quote here at the bottom: "The earth is the Lord's and all that it holds, including fossil fuels." We want to minimize the amount of fossil fuels that we learn. And then again, it's in the Tanakh. So these are all important reasons that synagogues, all Jewish organizations, should actually invest in reducing your energy usage. Okay, so again, don't be afraid. You can do it. You can reduce your energy waste and reduce your costs. I'm going to show some case studies later. It could be done. There's a perception out there, and I see this with my private clients as well as other not-for-profit clients. They get their Con Edison bill, they get their utility bill, they roll their eyes, they get upset, they maybe curse a little bit, and then they pay the bill. They just feel, oh, there's nothing I could do about Con Ed, nothing I could do about my utility. No, you can do something. And you're going to see examples of organizations that have reduced their energy usage and their costs by quite a bit. So develop a program, stick to the program, and if you do it right, it will work. So number one is determine your baseline. How much energy, that is electricity, natural gas, and oil, do you use now? So gather 2 years of recent Con Ed bills, oil invoices, and all that. chart out your monthly usage and cost of electricity and natural gas. The average of the 2 years is going to be your baseline. And hopefully you'll be going down compared to your baseline. Understand your building. How big is your shul? How is your building utilized? Is there a nursery school? Is there an after-school program? Is there evening programs, Sunday programs, etc.? Is it really a 7-day-a-week operation? And yes, understand your building's infrastructure. And yes, I know, it's boring. But catalog your HVAC equipment, your boilers, your air conditioners, and other major energy using equipment, elevators, your IT center. More and more synagogues now have data centers, refrigerators, freezers, etc. Equipment that's going to use a lot of energy. Make sure you know what they are. Have it all written down. Okay? And now have an energy audit done. And I liken it to a checkup with the doctor, right? You go to the doctor, he or she checks your blood pressure, your pulse, maybe an EKG, your breathing, blood results, urine result, whatever. And similarly, have an assessment of your synagogue's operations and energy usage. How old is your equipment, the equipment you just cataloged? Are they working well? Are they efficient? What are their operational schedules? Are they operating properly? When people are in the building, is everybody comfortable? Are guests comfortable? Do they have controls that could turn off the equipment, uh, without human intervention when unneeded to control spacing, to control cooling to the exact needs of the building? You may not get exact answers, but at least you'll get an indication where you have a problem. Yeah, just like a checkup. Same thing. You get the results, talk to your physician, and you may or may not have a problem. So I liken it to a checkup, and you're giving your building a checkup, very much like a checkup. So what areas stand improvement? Lighting is the best, the best bang for the buck. And I'm going to go a little bit backward here in terms of the order here. One thing you should look at is your shul or the areas of your shul overlit or underlit? And by the way, that includes the outdoors, especially with our growing concern about security. You certainly don't want areas that are underlit for security reasons and also for tripping reasons and all that. But you also don't want to have areas overlit. There are professional standards for how well an area, a space should be lit based on the functions that go on. And I'll give you an example. I did an energy audit for a yeshiva in Brooklyn. And the standard for classrooms is 40 what are called foot candles, 40 foot candles. A classroom should have enough illumination that reaches 40 or more foot candles for the students to learn and for the teachers to teach. So I'm doing measurements, illumination measurements in classrooms in this particular yeshiva, and I'm looking at my meter and it's 100 foot candles, 110 foot candles, 95 foot candles. So one of my conclusions was you can literally, I said to them, take out some lights or dim some lights. And I said to them, don't have to go all the way down to 40. It's good that you're above 40, but 100 is, and by the way, I took those illumination readings on a cloudy day. And in classrooms, the sun sometimes contributes. It happened to be cloudy that day. So there was no contribution. And they still got these massive numbers. So I suggested turn off a couple of lights in every classroom and see. I bet the students won't even notice it and the teacher won't even notice it. And a light that's off is the best savings there is, right? So, uh, so again, if areas of your shul are overlooked, consider dimming it a little bit or even removing a light, and that's a nice little savings right there. No cost involved, and you're saving electricity. Or there are controls to turn on and off your lights based on the space utilization. That's a little bit more controversial. Uh, Great example is occupancy sensors that when you walk into a dark room, it turns on automatically. When you leave the room, it eventually turns off. I know there's a lot of issues about Shabbat and Chagim and all that you are setting off an electrical spark essentially when you walk into the dark room. There's some rabbis interpret it as, well, as long as you're not actively turning on something, it's okay. And others say no, just the fact that you are even passively turning on a light is a problem. So that's really up to the synagogue to make that decision. But the point is the technology is available. And it's a good thing. And then the main thing is, are your lights energy efficient? Everybody should have LED lights now. There was a time when they were expensive and maybe they weren't controllable. Now it's the opposite. LED lights are very, very affordable now, and They're half the wattage of a fluorescent light, a quarter of the wattage of incandescent lights, and it actually produces more foot candles, more illumination than those lights. So more lights and much less energy usage. So if you don't already have all LED lights, you ought to have. HVAC, are your units properly sized for the space that has to be heated or cooled? This is a particular problem for older buildings, like 50-year-old buildings or more, because back then, when HVAC systems were designed, electricity was cheap. Natural gas was cheap. And so they often designed units that were bigger than were really needed. You need 10 tons of cooling? Let's put in 15. The extra electricity? It's cheap. This was the thinking 60 years ago. But if you're replacing in kind, now all of a sudden that extra electricity that you're using is going to cost you a lot. So if you're ever replacing, don't just replace in kind automatically, but give it some thought. Have someone evaluate. You really need that size air conditioning unit or boiler. Are they functioning properly? Are they controlled? Are the set points appropriate for the needs? And here's a big one. The fourth one here gets overlooked is, are they serviced regularly and properly? All boilers, all rooftop units, thermostats should be serviced annually because things tend to drift, filters tend to get clogged, coils get clogged, things like that. Tubes in boilers get clogged, get dirty. They need to be cleaned once a year, tested and recalibrated. And it's relatively cheap and the savings is fantastic. Plug load. Again, is your equipment, PCs, printers, TVs, etc., operating properly? And then insulation. Are there obvious areas of heat loss? The things to look into as you do your energy audit, as you look for places to improve and save energy. So it's not a losing battle. Don't give in. Now is the time to bring in the specialists to address the issues, HVAC, lighting, etc. The nice thing, the good news is there have been remarkable gains in technology in recent years. Equipment now performs as well, if not better, than the older ones, and they use much less energy. And I happen to be a big fan of Energy Star. It's energystar.gov. It's a federal program, EPA, Department of Energy joint program, where they look at various types of equipment, not just for synagogues and Jewish organizations, but for your home as well. Refrigerators, TVs, printers, laptops, and etc. If a model uses, I believe it's 30% less electricity compared to comparable ones, then it gets the Energy Star certification. I buy all my equipment, has to have the Energy Star certification for home. If it doesn't have it, I ain't buying it. These pieces of equipment have built-in features that will save your energy. You don't have to do any work. You just plug it in, and those areas will help you benefit. So look into energy. We were very fortunate. Our current president ended the Energy Star program a few months ago, and there was such an outcry that they brought it back. So luckily, EnergyStar.gov is back in existence, got a website, and go into it not just for your synagogue, but even for your personal replacing refrigerator, replacing laptop, printer, etc. And the other thing to think about as you're doing energy upgrades is that there are people out there, organizations out there that will actually help you, that will pay part of the cost. It's in their interest, and that's the state of New York and Con Edison. So I have here links to their websites for that. It's not everything. They won't pay for everything, and they won't pay for every thing that you're looking to replace, but there are a number of programs out there, and definitely take advantage of it. You paid into it. Part of your fees to Con Edison pays for these programs, so you might as well research it and take advantage of it. Okay, now the rest of this presentation, we're going to talk about case studies. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the other WJC, Westchester Jewish Center in Mamaroneck, New York. And you have to excuse me, there's literally an avalanche going on behind me. One of my problems with my solar panels is snow accumulates. And I guess it's warm enough, and a whole bunch just came down this moment. So that was that big noise that just occurred behind me. So sorry about that. Of course, as a member of Westchester Jewish Center, I consider the council the other WJC. But since most of you are WJC council people, we'll call this the other WJC. Westchester Jewish Center in Mamaroneck, 500 family conservative shul, has a nursery, Hebrew school, many religious, cultural education programs. People are in and out 7 days a week. A thorough review, and it's been around for the building's been around for about 60 years, give or take. A thorough review of energy costs had never been performed. I got a call about 12 years ago from the executive director who said, "Our Con Ed bills are killing us. Can you help us, Mark?" And so she sent me over a bill, and right away I saw a big problem. The Westchester Jewish Center was classified as a religious institution for natural gas, but for electricity, they're classified as a large industrial source. And so they were paying a higher rate than a religious institution would. And they were also paying for demand, for peak demand, as well as for usage. And so immediately we had that, or fairly quickly, we had that corrected with Con Ed. They corrected the error. They acknowledged it was their error. Con Edison has a requirement that if they overcharge you, they have to look back 6 years and pay you what they overcharge you with interest. And I will say, actually, I'll give the number. WC got a check for $76,000 from Con Edison. What a nice surprise! Were they happy when they got that? They didn't believe it was going to happen, and they got it. So 5 years ago, when I gave this presentation, I worked with Elliot, and I made an offer. I said, any synagogue can send me a scan of a Con Ed bill, and I'll do a review of whether you're misclassified or not, or whatever. Exactly 2 synagogues took him up on the offer. One of them was absolutely fine. The other one was classified correctly. However, it turned out they were paying some taxes they were not supposed to pay, being a not-for-profit. And so we got that corrected with Con Ed for them as well. So it's very important that a synagogue, a Jewish organization, not just take the bill, go to the bookkeeper, say, okay, pay it. Spend some time, look at it, make sure you classify right. There are some taxes that a synagogue has to pay, but others that they don't. You should know what that is. So little by little, this was, I'm going to say a bunch of things that we did. Don't think this was done in one day or 1 week or even 1 year. These are little changes that occurred little by little over years, but it all adds up and was all positive. Another problem with the bill, with the Con Ed bill, is that they never selected an ESCO to supply electricity. Now, again, I don't know if everyone knows this, maybe not, but you have a right to select your supplier of natural gas and your supplier of electricity. If you don't pick somebody, then Con Edison will pick it for you, and I will tell you, they will not pick the cheapest one for you. So you have the right, the opportunity to look at suppliers, multiple suppliers, and pick what you believe is the best rate or what you believe is in your best interest. Westchester Jewish Center never did that. So what we did was we did better than find an ESCO. We brought in a broker who has relationships with about 40 ESCOs. And it was a competitive bidding, and they got an absolute fantastic supply electric rate. A 3 year locked in for 3 years. It was at the time about 20% below what was average. And then by the end of the 3 years, it was about 40% less than everybody else was paying. So it was absolutely fabulous. We were all upset when the 3 years was up, but it was a tremendous thing, and that saved them quite a bit of money. We upgraded the lighting. We changed all the fluorescent lights to LEDs, but cut the electric use from the lighting by 50%, more than 50%. And we upgraded various HVAC equipment. But the emphasis was to put in modern energy efficient units. There's a new boiler was put in that's 94% efficient. And I think the previous one was 70 or 75, something like that. So that, helped a lot. But it was even a change in the mindset. Instead of saying, "Oh, what's the cheapest and what's the easiest to put in?" Instead, what is going to be last the longest and be most energy efficient? And that was good to see that change in mentality. And the big one, in 2024, Westchester Jewish Center installed 499 400-watt solar panels. Covers about really 95% of the current electricity usage. It was a great thing. It was a battle for a while. A lot of issues came up, bureaucratic issues, but it was done and they're in place, and it's really good. And this is the best I could find in terms of summarizing what the savings are. The panels were turned on a day before Hanukkah in 2024. And we'd even joked around that while the oil lasted for 8 days in the temple back then, this is warranted for 25 years of producing electricity. for Westchester Jewish Center and for the area going into the grid. So in the first 12 months of its operation, it produced 235 megawatt hours of electricity, which was about 95% of their usage in that 12-month period. So it was fabulous. Obviously, the bills went down, and it was a real, obviously positive thing. So here is a graph of the total energy savings at WJC over the last 12 years. As you see, energy usage has gone down. These bars represent kBTUs per year, which is the sum of natural gas usage and electricity usage. So in fiscal year 2014, that ends June 30th, 2014, as you see, it was 4.6 million kBTUs of energy used per year. And in fiscal year 2025, ending June 30th, it was down to 2 million. So it went down by more than 50%, by 57% decrease of energy usage at WJC in 12 years. And if anything, WJC has grown. There's more people at WJC over the last 12 years, more programs, more usage of the building. That means more times the boiler must be on to keep people comfortable, air conditioners on to keep people cool, et cetera, et cetera. And yet energy usage went down 57%. And now the cost, right, which we were all concerned about. So the green line represents the actual costs for energy, costs for natural gas, costs for electricity. In 2014, they spent $120,000 or $10,000 a month on Con Edison for electricity. And you see how it's gone down over the year. How many things in 12 years have gone down in cost? I can't think of anything that's gone down in cost in 12 years, but what WJC pays for energy has gone down in the 12 years. And yes, to be honest, if you look at year 6 to year 7, some of that could be attributed to COVID. The building was used a bit less, but even after it recovered, look how low the expenditures were. And that green line is going to go down more once we have a full year of the solar panels kicking in and all that. The orange line represents what if we did nothing? What if we didn't change the lights? What if we didn't change the HVAC? We had the same energy usage to the kBTU continually, and we applied an inflation rate of 3%, which of course is actually conservative. It was actually more like 4.5%. I bumped it up. You see year 9, year 10 sort of jumps a little bit. I made it 9% that year. That was the year 2022. We had that big inflation pitch there in 2022, but other than that, 3%. And again, that understates what it is. So the savings, if WJC had done nothing and left all their equipment, all their lights the way it was, is they're saving $95,000 this year now compared to, not changing anything. And these are changes that were made in some cases 12 years ago, 11 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever. They're still saving now. I mentioned this in the beginning about how the savings actually increases in time as the rates go up. And this is an example. And again, the actual difference is higher than that because I was using just 3%. So this is a great financial benefit for Westchester Jewish Center, as well as, of course, the halachic and the sustainability issues as well. But other congregations are doing smart projects too. Bob, do you want to talk about Congregation Sons of Israel, or would you like me to talk about it and you can chime in?
I could do it quick.
Okay, go ahead.
The congregation itself is more than 100 years old. That the building we're in, it's about 65 years old. It was built in stages. There's about 380 member families, an extremely active nursery school also. So we're about to do our second generation of solar panels. We did solar panels, I think, about 8 years ago. Our roofs are flat. That is not optimal. So it's complicated. We realized that the technology had moved on, and there were grants through either the bipartisan infrastructure law, or maybe it was the Biden energy bill.
Inflation Reduction Act, probably.
Right, Inflation Reduction Act. So anyway, we acted just in time. We worked with a vendor who helped us get to a plan that is going to be installed in the next few months. It should give us 100% of all the energy we use for lighting, machinery, heating, cooling, etc. We'll see. Happy to share information about how we felt that vendor. And I will just give the warning for people that anytime you're doing something that might be visible outside or might affect the fire department or the police department, your local town, village, or city might want you to do permits. And we were pushing the edge of what had ever been done by anybody in Briarcliff. So it took them a long time to actually figure out what the permit process would be. If that hadn't happened, these panels would be active already.
And I can tell you our biggest delay at Westchester Jewish Center was Con Edison permitting. Took months and months and months for their approval. I don't know if it was formally a permit, but for their approval, took months, unfortunately. Set us back maybe even half a year.
Right. So I think the thing I want to say about heating and cooling is that we've switched to a system in which we have pretty fine-grained zonal controls. So during times that like the nursery school is using this, but nobody's using that, we don't have to have as much heating and cooling in those areas. Next slide, please. I think the thing that I want to say is that we're doing a balance of what you're saying, Mark, namely affect the bottom line and also make it visible to the congregants. There are things where in the grand scheme of all effect on nature in all of Westchester County or New York State, we're not going to move the needle. But if people see that we don't generate a lot of wasteful paper, that any disposables we may use at our kiddishes can be composted, those visible things, some of the food that we use, not a lot of it, but some of it is grown in a small organic garden that is just behind the shul. We call it our organic farm. We also raise chickens, and volunteers grow massive amounts of food there that can be sold, that can be donated. So I guess what I want to say is that ethic of showing it's not that different from what we used to do, but it's greener. We hope people will then move that to their own homes and their own small and medium businesses.
Great points, Bob. I have to say, one of the problems we've had at Westchester Jewish Center, we haven't publicized our upgrades well enough. Most of our members don't even know we have solar panels because you can't see it from the street, from the area around it. And we don't really, and we should have got, and we probably can still get a kiosk, which we could put up a screen and show what the production is. But most people don't even know what it is. It really has become a bureaucratic thing, something that saves money, but congregants are not aware of that. We have to make a better effort. But this is great.
Right.
I love the organic farm. I think that's absolutely fabulous.
My wife gets a 1 or 2 paragraph mini article about the progress of CSI's greenings in every other month's bulletin. So that's just a way to make it more visible.
Great idea, Bob. Yeah.
I think I'm done.
Okay, good. So I'm moving on to Colamy and White Plains. I'm sorry, this is sort of a very busy slide. I don't know, Bonnie, do you want to discuss this or want me to discuss it? Or you probably should discuss it, right?
Okay, we'll do this relatively quickly, but we at Colamy, maybe about 8 years ago, we did a number of energy efficiency upgrades for the 3 buildings on the Colamy campus. We switched to LED lighting from fluorescence. We implemented controls on the lights that had vacancy sensors on them so that you had to turn the lights on manually, but then they would go off by themselves when you left the space. And then we upgraded the heating and ventilation and air conditioning in 2 of the 3 buildings, and we also got a significant amount of money from both NYSERDA and Con Edison for upgrading to more energy efficient equipment. It was in the figure rate. It was in the low $100,000, which was great because that reduced the project by like 25%. It was pretty significant. At that time, 8 years ago, we calculated that we reduced our electrical expense by about $85,000 a year. Um, I don't think we have a chart here to show the difference like Mark has for his WJC, but that $85,000 in year one, I'm sure resulted in more savings by now. Because like Mark said, every year as Con Ed increases its rate and we've kept our KWH low, the savings increase year by year. I think that's it.
Oh, I see, Bonnie, you're holding the check. I'm just curious what it was like taking it to the bank and depositing it. No,
Oh,
just
it
kidding.
was great. Everybody was, there's a video on YouTube about that somewhere, where the president of the board and the treasurer talk about, how much money we got back. It's great. We did our part for Tikkun Olam and the congregation not only benefited by getting this check, but, the payback was relatively quick, because we reduce so much energy.
But I could share one frustration we have at Westchester Jewish Center is we believe we're owed $150,000 from the federal government from the Inflation Reduction Act for the solar panels. We submitted the paperwork. It was approved, quote unquote approved, but the money hasn't been issued yet. And we inquire every couple of months, or when's it coming? And we don't get an answer back. So hopefully we will get the money eventually. But you know. That would be nice, but that project and other projects, and obviously Bonnie's projects, are being funded partially by other people. So it's nice to have others who pay. It's you can get sticker shock very easily on these projects, but know that you get a certain percentage paid for by Congress and or by NYSERDA, or the state of New York, because it's in their interest for these projects to happen as well.
Can I just add one thing,
Please.
Mark? You'd be really hard pressed to find another company or another organization that would pay you to use less of what they're selling. I mean, think about that. Con Ed gives money to people and organizations to buy less energy. That's absurd. Any money manager, any business person knows how crazy that is. Atlantic Westchester is the HVAC company that implemented the rooftop units. Just answering the question in the chat. So they were sub to us. So when you think about why would Con Ed do this, wouldn't they be losing money by not only reducing what you're buying, but paying you for it also? And the truth is that it's cheaper for Con Edison and other utilities to pay to reduce electricity than it is for them to invest in their own infrastructure and upgrade substations and things like that, which can be exorbitant. So, especially in certain areas of New York City, in Brooklyn and Queens, where the substations are at capacity and they consistently have blackouts and brownouts, and Con Ed will foot the bill for the entire project in those areas.
I read a story in some journal about how Congress estimated they needed $2 billion to upgrade these various substations to modernize and be able to produce energy reliably all over the New York City metropolitan area. And they said, well, we need to raise rates 20% to do that. Public Service Commission said, absolutely not. That's way too much. We'll allow you, and this was about 7 or 8 years ago, we'll allow you 5%, 6%, something like that, but you're going to have to raise the money or do it in stages or reduce electricity usage, just as Bonnie said. And there's, by the way, other synagogues have done things. I didn't think there was time to do everybody, but we could certainly do another session and have it done. But I'm just going to wrap up here and just let you know you can do it. Other synagogues have done it. You can do it too. And don't be intimidated that you may not be an energy expert. Smart green projects will save you money, but you need to be committed. This is something that's not going to happen overnight or in a week or two or a month or two or even in a year or two. You have to be willing to invest, uh, you know, in this and bring on and work with experienced energy professionals. But by doing so, you could save costs. You could weather our current energy cost problems, our big rise in energy costs, be in control of those costs, and do tikkun olam. So, and the WJC Greening Roundtable is here to help. I will offer myself if anybody has questions informally. You can certainly contact me. My email address is coming up. I don't want to speak for Bob or Bonnie, but I'm sure they will be happy to speak about what they've done at their synagogues through you if you need pat on the back or whatever, some advice. And in general, the Westchester Jewish Council Greening Roundtable is here to help all synagogues. So that's it.
I want to
Here's
throw
how to
in one.
contact me. Thank you very much.
I
Yeah,
want
go
to
ahead,
throw
Bob.
in one more statement. You may only be thinking that you operate one building, your temple, your synagogue, your parochial school, whatever it is, your JCC. But think harder. It turns out that CSI is also the owner of the house where the rabbi lives. And so we went ahead and put solar panels on that house. There's just, think comprehensively. That's all I wanted to say.
Excellent. So with that, I'm done. Robin, I think you're probably checking the chat maybe, and people have questions or I don't know how you want to do it, but ready
Yeah,
for questions.
yeah, we do have questions. Do you want me to do it, Bonnie? I'll do
Sure, go right
questions.
ahead.
Okay. All right, let's see. Let me go up here a little bit. Okay, hold on. Whoopsies. Okay. Well, first, just to repeat, CSI, Bob mentioned about a 2 to 3 page. He has a 2 to 3 page background information you gave to your board about obligations for big greening, and Pam will share that with the roundtable. Thank you, thank you. Okay, next. Okay, but the ESCO that was mentioned. Okay, what is the correct Con Ed electric classification? Did you mention that, Mark? I think you
Yeah,
did.
it should be either SC1 or EL1.
SC1, EL1. Okay, that's Con Ed. That's for a religious institution. Okay, great. Next, and this is from Judy Zinger, will Sustainable Westchester find a public power supplier for electric supply again? So, I mean, not
So
sure what that
can you
means,
repeat
but
that? I didn't catch the beginning.
unless Judy wants to, Judy, do you want to? Judy's muted. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, Judy, go ahead. Go ahead. You
Yeah,
asked your
go ahead,
question.
Judy.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for a
Judy.
while, Sustainable Westchester was promoting,
Oh,
I guess it
yes.
was Constellation Energy. It was renewable and you had the choice of renewable or whatever, at a decent rate that was guaranteed for the year or maybe more. And then they lost that contract. And I know Sustainable Westchester is trying to do a lot of things, including community solar, that the resources aren't there yet. So I wondered if they were coming back.
I haven't heard.
But
I know there was.
Christian is on the line. He's actually from Sustainable Westchester.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah,
Okay, that's why
Yeah,
I
Christian.
asked. Thank you,
yeah,
Chris.
I could probably pitch into that question a little bit. So yeah, when it comes to like one of those like external power suppliers, um, I I currently have no knowledge of if we're going to pick up somebody new to replace them. I would have to kick that further up the chain because there's been some recent shakeups when it comes to like Westchester Power and stuff like that. What happened with that program as well. So we're still kind of focused on like providing energy savings and stuff like that with like our Good Awards program, which is what I'm kind of mainly focused on as their program coordinator. Um, but yeah, when it comes to like, power suppliers like that, uh, I have no knowledge of that we're pursuing anything at this time, but I can keep you all updated on any further developments in that regard.
Thank you. Thank you, Christian. Since we have Christian right here, does anyone have any questions before we move on to other questions? Anyone else want to ask him a question? Well, we have you? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And I can throw my email in the chat if you guys have any questions.
Sure. That'd be great. Thank you.
And also community solar, please.
Oh, we are still very much promoting community solar. It's one of our main focuses right now. So I know recently we just filled up a few projects, but we also just opened up a few more. So community solar is still very much rolling on the ball, so to speak. So
Oh,
yeah,
and they're available to Con Ed or just NYSEG?
just NYSEG, I believe at this time. I'll keep again. I'll keep you informed on that. But I'm pretty sure that these new batches are just NYSEG customers. Um, but yeah, I'll keep you informed.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Christian. Okay, Bob is talking about ESCOs. You had chosen Robeson, actually. The Singer family was from Greenberg Keeper Center, so and one of the sons, right, CSI, right, so we know them well. Okay, your question is, since your electric system is going to change in the next 5 months, you ask whether you should revisit your ESCO decision. Although we should be so efficient, this will only affect us for natural gas, not for electrons. So I guess if Mark wants to address that question
Well, I'll
about
I'll
ESCOs.
address it as far as Westchester Jewish Center is concerned. When that 3-year contract ran out, we knew we would be putting in solar panels and essentially getting very little electricity from the grid. So knowing that it was going to take some time, we renewed for 1 year, had a 1-year contract, which was fairly good, and then we didn't renew it again because a couple of months later, the solar panels came on, and like I said, we used very little electricity from the grid. So, and
Can I add
yeah, go
that
ahead, Tom.
if Mark is very fortunate in that his solar system addresses more than 95% of the electricity that his shul uses, but there are buildings that aren't so lucky. So if your solar system, if you have a smaller roof and your solar system only addresses 50% or 30% or whatever it is, you're still going to get an electric bill. And what you need to do is look at your ESCO contract and make sure you don't get penalized for going down in energy usage. You need to possibly renegotiate your rate.
Mm. What's like a good, I mean, we have solar panels. They're a little bit on the old side, our synagogue. What's like a good percentage of energy that we should be getting from them? I have no clue how much we're getting, but they are a little bit old, so I'm just curious.
As much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's based on how much space you have on the roof and safety and fire concerns and also the efficiency of solar systems get less efficient over time. So
No, yeah.
And also, speaking of efficiency, you have to make sure your building is using the least amount of energy possible as well, because if you reduce the energy use, then you don't need as much from the solar panels. And I see many people who put solar panels on and think that they're being energy efficient, and they're not. They could be like, energy pigs, and just because they're able to cover that with solar panels doesn't mean they're energy efficient. And it's actually in your benefit to be more energy efficient, upgrade your lighting and HVAC and
Right.
whatever, because then you don't have to invest so much money in a larger solar system.
Got it. Yeah, we have LEDs, and thanks to Adama helped to fund it, so that was good.
Awesome.
Great. So I can call on Bob, or I can continue with the questions. But let me just, since we're talking solar, actually, Judy Zinger asked who was the solar installer for Westchester Jewish Center.
it was a company called Sunblue.
Sunblue. Okay, got
They're
that.
in Tarrytown or I forget, or somewhere in that area is where they're based.
Okay.
Maybe Sleepy Hollow, I forget where they're based, but around there.
Okay,
They're very good.
Sunbloom. Let me cut to Bob for a minute, and then we'll go back to the Q&A in the chat. Go ahead, Bob. What's your question?
My question is about changing glass in doors, windows, and actually part of CSI also has what look like elegant garage doors with glass windows. Given, unfortunately, the occasional rise of violent anti-Semitism, it could be the case that we could make a case to put in different glass that is both more bullet resistant, sound resistant, and energy efficient. So my question to Mark or anyone else, do we know of any such materials? Do we know of any synagogues or temples or JCCs, doesn't even have to be in Westchester, that have tried such a product, and how happy are they with it?
Yeah, I can answer that. There is a company that's actually based in New Rochelle that makes a plastic covering over a glass. It's totally transparent, so it doesn't change anything, but it adds an extra layer of insulation. So it's as if you're adding a second piece of glass, but it's actually see-through plastic, and it's also noise resistant and explosive resistant. And apparently there was an incident at a synagogue in Austin, Texas, where bomb went off or something went off, some explosive went off, and it prevented the glass behind it from being shattered. The plastic absorbed the vibrations or the explosion or whatever. And I think this is an issue for a lot of synagogues because, of course, a lot of synagogues have stained glass and single pane and stained glass. I know in the sanctuary of Westchester Jewish Center, I touched the glass from the inside and it's cold, in the winter. So, so this would probably be a good product for a lot of synagogues for stained glass or any time you have a single pane glass.
Yeah,
I'll get you offline, Bob.
I think we put some protective film in for our religious school
company
classrooms.
and all that.
Yeah.
And the contact information. I don't have it
I'm
in my
just
head, but
gonna
I'll
throw in that the emerging area which we're still studying is, could we use less plastic at CSI because people are concerned about PFAS and all kinds of reasons, microplastics, et cetera, et cetera. So we haven't decided yet to make that a focus issue for the green team. But anyway, I'm just bringing that up. Like it's something
but
you might
remember that
hear from
it's
us in a year.
it's not a one use and throw it out at the end of the day. This is going to be on your windows for years. So it's
That's true.
So it's a different category.
Okay. Okay, it's 1 o'clock. I can go through the rest of the questions if everyone wants to stay a couple minutes, if that's okay.
I'll stay.
Okay, Mark will stay. If you have to leave, leave, but we'll do a couple more questions. There's a few more left. Okay, who is Atlantic Westchester? Go ahead, Mark.
Maybe Bonnie knows.
Oh, Bonnie knows.
Bonnie. But Bonnie knows them well. I don't.
Sorry, I answered it before when I saw it pop up. It's the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning company that helped me make the HVAC upgrades at Colamy. I've worked with them many times. They're very professional. They're up in Bedford, New York, Bedford Corners, New York. So if anybody's interested, I can in heat pumps or whatever, I can recommend them to you.
Great, great. Okay. And Steve asked also, has anyone implemented ground sourced or air sourced heat pumps? Looks like Bob, you'll have to talk to Steve, right? Okay, so you did it for your house, but not for CSI.
Also, heat pumps are becoming very, very, very popular in New York City because people have mandatory energy efficiency budgets that their buildings must comply with, or else they're going to get huge fines. So you're going to see, heat pumps everywhere, air source heat pumps like in apartment buildings, because ground source, I mean, you can install them vertically. It's very hard to do it horizontally in the city, but probably even vertically a little bit. But you're going to see air source all over the place in the coming years. The next deadline is 2030.
Yeah, we're looking at that for a bottom level of our synagogue. So go ahead. Yep, go ahead, Rana. Go ahead, Rana.
What's the name of the company, Bonnie, that you were just talking about, please?
Atlantic Westchester.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to add, it's not in New York, but my sister's synagogue in Chicago just got ground source heat pumps. I think they finished the project last year. So I'm curious. I'm going to reach out to her. I wonder if they would be open to presenting it all. If this would be a good platform for them to share with everybody here if they're interested, if there's something we can learn.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, we'll follow up with you, Rona. You can follow up with us too.
Sure. I have to run, but thank you so much. This was great.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, and if you're interested for the Adama, I know Adama, exactly, we're looking at some grants for these heat pumps. They know about coalition members, right, who is installing heat pumps. So Adama is a good source if you want to connect with people. Just letting everybody know that. We have Christian's email. Yes, we'll be sharing the slides, absolutely. A lot of glass in CSI. Okay. Plastic, right, we talked about that. Okay. Got it, right. And then, right, Daniel J again is there. There's another round of grants that are out there, so we know about that. And the applications are due April 16th for Adama grants. Okay, great. Good information. Okay, good. Any other questions before we wrap up? And And say thank you to Mark. Thank you so much for preparing such an extensive and totally useful presentation. Really amazing stuff there. Very, very practical and doable for everybody on all different types of levels. And of
Thank
course,
you all
Mark
for your
is,
attention and for
yeah.
being so enthusiastic.
And Mark is always happy to talk to people about any of these things. So it's great. We appreciate it. So thank
What's
you.
Mark's phone number?
Oh, 91. I'll put it in the chat. You'll see it.
Just tell me because they're going to close it.
Okay, 914-584-6720.
Thank you.
Okay, so great. Okay. We will be having another roundtable in the spring, date to be determined, and possibly like a nice field trip or something. But we'll get back to everybody. There it is, 914-584-6720. Okay, good. So we'll be, we'll be back in touch with the slides, more information, the checklist, sharing of resources, and again, another get together. So
thank you so much. This
anything
was
else
Thank
that
you,
anyone wants to
Pam
say?
and Robin and Bonnie, putting all
Thank you.
this together.
And I'm
Thank you
very
all.
interested in
very
Bob's
information. Very
letter.
informative.
So
Thank
Bob,
you
make
very
sure
much.
we get the letter, please.
Good. Okay, good. Good. Okay, great. So we'll be back in touch. Have a wonderful Chag Sameach, happy Purim, happy Passover. You can be sustainable on both ends, right? So lots of opportunities here, and hopefully we'll head into some beautiful weather soon. No snow and a little warmer weather
Coming out.
when it's time. Okay, good. Okay, so I think we're done now, right? And we'll say goodbye and
Bye. Thank you
take
so
care,
much.
everybody.
Thank you very
Stay
much.
well.
Well,
Okay, thank you.